Okay, let's talk about one of the most important and super simple principles when it comes to being effective with working with new people and honestly working with ourselves, working with our own psychology, because one of the aspects that can get us kind of puzzled, can get us kind of thrown in a loop when we're trying to create strategies for other people is that we get way too in our own thought process and we get overcomplicated. We're not able to use innocent perception and basically common sense to actually streamline a very simplified approach to good health for someone else. And so really just learning how to ask better questions, asking them good questions or asking ourselves better questions. For example, I've had clients that have come up to me and they've just loaded on me with just all this stuff just unloading because I was pretty much the first person that they felt like they could actually unload all the baggage that they've been carrying for years. So sometimes you have to deal with that. You have to actually know how to kind of facilitate the energy where you're letting them unload that excessive baggage, but you're not taking it on as well. And so for me, I've gotten into these issues where, like, man, why does this person always just like yap, and they just can't get out of their little loop? And so I've had to change my own psychology. Instead of thinking, why is this person so negative? I had to reframe that, like, how can I help this person start to become more positive? How can I give this person an insight or a perspective that shifts their whole outlook? Changing the framework of the questions that are coming across my radar screen. And ultimately, that's what you have to do for other people, because all that baggage, all that negativity, all that excessive dense energy that people are carrying was the manifestation of just asking inappropriate questions, right? Like Anthony Robbins says, the quality of our life is based in the quality of the questions that we ask of life. So if you're always asking, why does this always happen to me? Why do I never have enough money at the end of the month? Why do things never work out for me? These are the questions that most people ask themselves over the duration of time, over the stress of life. When life gets too stressful and they're carrying too much weight and they can no longer shoulder the load of the pressure of life, they start to ask themselves disempowering questions. And so just having that perspective, understanding that most people are coming from a place of insecurity just out the gate, right? Most people are feeling very weak, especially when they come to a coach. So some people come to a health coach because they understand the value and they want to up-level their results. But most people, they tend to wait till something breaks down in their life before they seek a radical change or a radical solution. So just understand, most people are coming from a state of insecurity and they've been asking themselves all the wrong questions up to this point to where they found you. And so you need to be able to help them reframe their psychology and start to recontextualize the questions that they're asking themselves. And I've also found too that if I just listen to people, they'll actually answer their own question. This is really interesting. Instead of me putting the pressure on myself, like, oh, I need to have all the answers. I'm the guru. I'm the one they're coming to. I'm the genie in the bottle, right? I have the answers. Then that's too much pressure for me, and that's not real anyways. I'm not healing anyone. The force or the God force that resides through me by being an open channel is where the insights come from. So I found that if I just listen to people and I ask them strategic questions, like for example, when someone comes and they're like, oh, I have this back pain, or I have this foot cramp, or I have this knee problem, instead of me being like, oh, I know what that is, that's this, and this, automatically people have a default defense mechanism. It's not that they're trying to be defensive, it's just in our society we've kind of put up the walls, right? And the insecurity causes them to be a little more cautious. So instead of telling someone all the time, like, oh, this is what's going on, you need to fix this, or this is how you fix it, I just ask them, oh, okay, well, what do you think caused it? How do you think that started? And it's amazing how people will answer their own question. People will answer the question that you ask them, and they'll actually, something in their subconscious mind will trigger, and they'll go through the database, the Rolodex of their past life, and they'll think, oh, well, that's, I never really thought about it, but now that I think about it, I had a shoulder injury, and then I tightened it up on my shoulder, or I had a stressful situation where I got rejected by a past lover, or my mother told me this, and it caused a constriction in my neck. And then my neck became tense, and then somehow that created a tension in my back. And then the knee problem became, it's not the knee that was hurting. It was the shoulder, and it created tension, and it traveled all the way to their IT band and their thigh, and it created a contractiveness. Right? I'm telling you, it's amazing how people will start to travel down the road of their past and come up with their own answers if you simply give them the platform to do so. So that's really critical. Learning how to ask the right questions for your own empowerment, but then asking or teaching those people you're working with how to answer their own questions is the quickest way to be an effective communicator and to really help people get to the root of what's going on in their life.